Hello, welcome back. Thanks for joining Jamie and I today. So, Jamie, recently Amanda and I, we went down to West Baden and French Lake. I'm sure you've been there before.
Been there, yeah.
Well, it's kind of a thing, and my wife will roll her eyes when this happens, but at the same time, she sometimes is like, we should go do this.
Yeah.
So there is a distillery in West Baden.
Yeah, I've not been to the distillery.
It's called the Spirit of French Lick. And I think it started as the whole facility started as a winery first. I didn't drink any of their wine. I don't really. Sometimes I drink wine, but not really.
Yeah.
So I was more fascinated about their spirits, and I forget how many they had. I had a paper upstairs. I should have grabbed it, but they had a lot of different kinds of bourbons and whiskeys. I think they had some gins and vodkas. What was disappointing to me is I could only sample 4.
Really?
That was the max, and I sampled the 4, and Amanda's like, "Why don't you go sample more?" And so I'm like, "Good idea." She's like, "I'll drive, no big deal."
Yeah.
They're like, "No, can't do it."
4 only.
So I'm like, "All right, whatever."
So
But I grabbed a couple that I enjoyed. Actually, one of these I didn't try while I was there, but it had, as I was reading about it and what was in it and that sort of thing, I found it to be one of the more interesting descriptions. So I'm like, I'll take a chance on it. This one I did actually taste. But they had they do a lot of unusual grains. Like I think they had one that had like buckwheat in it. I think they had one whiskey, or I don't remember just a whiskey or bourbon, but it had like 6 different grains. So the place needs a little sprucing up, if I'm being honest, but their products are cool. And these labels, I mean, look at these things. I think they're just cool labels.
Yeah, that's neat. It's neat looking bottle, neat looking label.
Yeah. I mean, simple bottle, cool label, but it's just classic. I mean, this seems old timey to me. So, but I thought we'd do, and I brought my glasses today because I know that there's some fine print on this label. So the first one we're going to do is the Hindostan Falls Straight Bourbon Whiskey, and they use heirloom corn, rye, and mullet. And I think what I heard is they actually have, I don't know if it's their farm specifically, but they have either their own farm or a relationship with a local farmer where they grow a few different varieties of heirloom corn.
Okay.
So this is double pot distilled, and it is 100 proof, aged at least 4 years, bottled and bond. So that's Hindostan Falls. So give that one a go. And I a lot of the guys that you watch, I watch that taste bourbon. Sometimes they're like, "Oh, pour it ahead of time." So these have been sitting here for probably now at least 20, maybe 30 minutes.
Okay.
So I don't know if that makes a difference, but sometimes when I pour something that I want to sip on for the first time, I'll let it sit there for a while.
I do too.
Aerate a little bit. All right, what do you get on the nose on this one?
I get like a caramel.
See, to me, it's like I almost get like a little bit of cinnamon on the nose too. Caramel, yeah, I can see that.
There's definitely a sweetness there.
I mean, the heirloom corn to me. I mean, I don't want to. I feel like I'm smelling some of that. There's almost like a buttery corn type sweetness to it, which almost like caramel corn maybe, because there is a corn note. All right, I'm going in.
It's really pretty consistent from front to back.
It is smooth.
Yeah, it's very.
There's a little bite at the end for me.
Yeah.
The
nose to me, the palate and the nose are very similar. I get a sweetness on that as well. The tail end, you get a little bit of a coffee, a drier coffee at the back end.
Yeah, I can taste that. I'll confess, the other night when I was like thinking about what different things to try, and I'm like, I hadn't opened this bottle yet, so I cracked it open. When I tried it the other night, well, I'll save that comment for a moment. We'll see how it compares to this other one, but I don't remember the price, but I don't remember it being crazy. 60-ish, maybe 40, 60-ish.
It drinks really pretty smooth. I mean, right out of the bottle like that.
Yeah, I never picked up that coffee before, but it is totally there. Maybe it's the power of suggestion, but it's definitely there.
So. Well, it could be that sit there and it breathes a little bit, and it could be wrong.
Yeah, and I mean, so do you find when you sip on bourbon and whiskeys, do you have a preference on the type of glass that you use?
I usually use a rocks glass.
I do too.
To be honest with you,
I do too.
I have a couple of these, but I usually use rocks glass.
I don't. Do you find that it makes that much of a difference?
No, not really.
I don't either.
No.
I mean, we can do pinkies up and all that, but I mean, supposedly, I think that the theory behind this is that the shape of this helps keep the aroma.
Yeah.
So this will probably have a better nose than if I drank this out of my rocks glass. Yeah. But the flavor wise, it should be generally pretty. All right, so that's the Hindostan Falls. All right, so the next one, this is called Lee W. Sinclair. Now, I got a couple things about this one. Well, I guess let's read it first before I tell a couple stories. So this is corn, wheat, oats, barley. So this is, I guess, a 4-grain.
Yeah.
And also Indiana straight bourbon whiskey, also 100 proof, bottled in bond, aged at least 4 years. I guess the story about this guy, Lee W. Sinclair, well, I guess he's like a major figure in the French Lick area.
Okay.
I guess at one point in time, he actually bought and ran the West Baden Springs Hotel.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, and I think he was a state senator or something like that. The other thing I thought was cool about this is it's really unrelated to the distillery or to French Lick or the namesake, but there's a picture of Tyler Childers on the internet with him holding the bottle.
Yeah.
I don't know if somebody sent it to him or what the deal was, but anyway, let's give this one a go. It's a different nose to me.
It's definitely a different nose.
This one I picked up a little bit of cinnamon. I don't really get that here. I feel like I'm smelling almost like do you remember eating oatmeal as a kid and the little packets and the maple and brown sugar oatmeal? I feel like I'm smelling maple and brown sugar oatmeal a little bit.
Yeah, there's brown sugar in this without question.
But I can pick up those oats. They did say oats, right? Yeah, oats.
Yeah, they're there. Yeah. It does. The buttery smell's not there.
No.
I mean, it's night and day different from on the nose.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pleasing.
It's soft. I mean, I think with both of these, the nose is really good, and I'm generally one that likes something that's a little higher proof.
Yeah.
But if I'm venturing into something, a distillery or something for the first time, usually it's pretty safe to get a bottle and bond because
Correct.
It's got the right age and certain conditions and that sort of thing. But
yeah, I mean it's good. It's good. It has a nice nose to it.
All right, I'm going in. So there's complexity with this one, I think.
There is.
There's more depth.
There is, and what's odd is there's a touch of, I don't know if it's cinnamon, there's a touch of something of a spice.
Like a baking spice for sure. Yeah.
Right out of the gate.
Yeah, it's definitely a palate forward on that.
I didn't have that on the nose, so that was.
It's complex, but at the same time, I'm struggling to find a couple other tasting notes to share.
Yeah, it's a very smooth. I mean,
I get the oats on that too, and I haven't had a lot of whiskeys with oats in them.
I haven't either. I'm not.
I had a couple recently. I think I had an American single malt, which I know I've been hearing that's a fast growing category.
Big deal.
I just can't do it, man.
Yeah, I have not even bought one yet.
I've tried a couple and they're okay, but I don't know. I'm just not there. But I do feel like I'm getting the oats on that taste a little bit too. What I wanted to say about the Hindostan Falls is that the other night when I was sipping on it, I found it very boring. And I think I find it's good. Don't mishear me.
All right.
But in comparison to me, this one has more. It's got more complexity. It's
Correct.
got I find myself like there's something there. I'm hunting for it.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit different flavor profile.
And I know we say this a lot, but to me, this is more of a introductory bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
This is more of a if you really enjoy bourbon, you'll enjoy this.
Absolutely, this is a good one. This is a good again, and I want to reach out to when I was at the distillery. They're like, oh, our distiller, he very much likes to interact with customers. He likes to tell the story, and he's got a few short videos on YouTube where he talks about. I think he was talking about this one and maybe a couple others. I'd love to connect with them and get the deep dive because they have a ton of offerings. Like I said, these were the two that I decided to splurge on the last time we were down there. But definitely, if you're in the French Lick place, go down there and check it out. I mean, don't expect like a big fan experience like you might get at some of the other distilleries, like the Jim Beams and the Old Forester. But it's worth stopping in, and especially the local distillers. It's good to kind of support them.
This is good quality bourbon.
It is good. It's really good. Really good. All right. Any other thoughts on these two before we wrap this one up?
No. The only thing I'd say is this one, the nose and the palate
do not match.
They do not match. But the nose is pleasing.
Yeah.
And so is the palate.
That's true.
So it's a kind of an odd combination. It works. It's like you said, it's complex. That bacon spice is on the nose or on the palate early. Yeah. And it can follow through, and it's good. It's good.
And I think you can find these. I haven't really hunted that much, to be honest. But I think these are available at a lot of different local places too. But French Lick, if you're living in Central Indiana, get your significant other and go down there for a weekend. She'll thank you for it. And hey, don't tell her the reason you're going down there is just to go to the distillery. Yeah. Or him, if you're a lady into bourbon, that's cool too. So
we'll keep your secret.
All right. Thank y'all.
Thank you.